Excellent.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Gonzo Experience. I am David Gonzo Milano here, bringing you an episode of my podcast for 6 years. It's been 6 years, crazy. I've been working myself up with experience and expertise and practice to be ready for my guests today. I have two wonderful women all the way from California who got up nice and early for me today. And if you're watching this on video by chance, I know most people listen to, but if you are watching this on our YouTube channel, they they look great. They're dressed nice, shower, makeup, hair's done, the whole works. So thank you, ladies, for that. But if it's just audio, if you're just enjoying the audio, you also enjoy their voices. But I want to welcome to the show Shelby Dash and Kristina Clifford. Excuse me, little frog in the throat. Kristina Clifford from Take Two Content. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. What an introduction. That was lovely.
Oh well, I'm ready for you. After 6 years, I am ready for the duo of comedic video ladies. We'll say, right? And I'm giving you a little take to what they do. So I forgot how I learned about you guys. If somebody told me about you, or you know what, I think I got an email from you.
Mhm.
And I was like, I truth be told, I delete most emails of people that I don't know, but for some reason I said, let me watch this video. It looked a little intriguing because you guys intertwine comedy into your videos, humor, I should say, into your videos, and smiles. And I liked the video. It was pretty darn funny. I went to your website for more, and I saw one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. With
Let me guess.
let's just call it the fart video.
I had a feeling he was going to say that.
Oh, it's very good. It's very good. Go to their website and watch it. But it's one of you is farting, and the other one is and well, the one that's farting is pretending that she's not, and it's
I'm just taking
very fun. Yeah.
I'm just taking it.
Oldest trick in the book.
Yes, I know, but it works. It's farting. When in doubt, farting is always funny. Especially with guys, right? I mean, it's for me.
Couldn't agree more.
When in doubt, fart. Right. So there we go. So Kristina Shelby, you have a great business called Take Two Content, and essentially making videos for companies infused with humor and smiles and laughs. And humor, I'm a big fan of it. Whenever humor is used effectively and somewhat professionally, it always works. A lot of people are afraid to use it in the workplace or in professional environments. But there is so much research. I mean, we're talking Harvard, right? Harvard research, et cetera, that proves that when humor is used effectively in the work environment, that it sales, profits increase, leadership, workplace engagement. I actually do a keynote on putting funny back in businesses. That's what I call it. And because as I some people know, here in my 20s. Way back when I was a stand-up comedian and did some improv as well in Chicago. And so I have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing. And I know, on your website and in your bio, you talk about that you're actually professionally trained in comedy, right? Mm-hmm. So enough about me talking about you. Let's hear it from you guys. Tell us about how, the journey, pre-business, getting into, what led to you getting into comedy, professionally trained, and then the journey into turning into a business. Love to hear the story.
Yeah, it all kind of was haphazard, to be honest. We both came out to LA to be actresses and studied in class for many, many years, comedy-based class, improv, we did stand-up. So all that time and effort we put into learning the craft, but also making our own comedy videos and doing the improv, I feel like it all led up to this business essentially. And I think, didn't know at the time where it was going, especially when we were making the weekly comedy videos. We were kind of just, looking for the views, looking for the likes, trying to grow our careers in the acting realm. But when it kind of happened haphazardly, like I said, during the pandemic, we were kind of both out of our day jobs. Obviously, a lot of people were. And we randomly found on Craigslist this ad agency in Sweden. And he was looking for people to make, funny content for his clients. And I reached out and we sent them some videos we had done in the past. And then he was like, okay, well, I'm going to give you this company and, just give me a pitch. Give me a few ideas out there. And we came up with a whole brainstorm. And when we pitched to him, he was just like, okay, well, I did not expect that to be that good. And we were kind of like, we didn't either. But then that's when it started to click that we were onto something. And through that, we decided to branch out on our own and find our own clients. And it kind of grew from there. And about a year ago, we're like, let's do this thing. Let's make that LLC.
Nice. Which is called, again, Take Two Content. I like the name there.
The number two.
Yeah.
The number two, and which is funny to say, right?
Yes.
You could say you're number one in the number two business. I don't know. Maybe we're going too far now, but So I didn't realize that. So you guys actually started during COVID. I mean, and how was that? Like, how were you able to approach companies with this very unique concept? Like, hey, we're not only going to do videos for your company, but we're going to make them funny. What do you think? I mean, how did that go?
Yeah, it's interesting because that was kind of the jobs that we started getting. That was kind of what got us the job, to be perfectly honest, and still is to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of times, businesses get approached by, video makers or video production teams, but they don't all have that comedic vibe, or they're not coming with the ideas. They're expecting them to come with the ideas, and then they just film it, edit it, sort of like nuts and bolts. So for us, it's always been kind of the thing that separated us and made us stand out. And so it's kind of been great.
And I think a lot of people, want to feel like they're funny or comedic, but it is really, it takes a lot of effort to learn why things are funny and to fail a lot and to do it to find out what's not funny. And so I feel like we've been through the gauntlet of that to really start to understand what makes something funny.
True.
So I think we bring that to the table, which a lot of people don't necessarily have, even though they may think we have. But you, David Mamano,
you are
hilarious.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all day. I appreciate that. So what were you guys, were you working together at the same company, or were you guys just were friends and working separate companies that both got laid off?
I was actually bartending and, doing a lot of commercials and that kind of thing. Shelby had a more interesting job.
Oh, did I ever? Yeah. Well, working together, we were making comedy videos for our socials for at least I want to say 7 or 8 years at that point.
Yeah.
We had been doing it for a long time. Sometimes consistently, sometimes not, but for the majority, I think we spent 2 or 3 years where we were putting out a video every single week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at that time I was working for a medical company where I was a fake patient for medical students. Yes, she was. She had an ailment. The students came in and, asked me questions, and I put on the show of a lifetime. I'll tell you that.
Wow. I remember when I was in high school, we had when we were learning CPR, Annie, are you okay? Were you kind of like that or not?
Like a dummy?
I wasn't going to say that,
It's like that episode of Seinfeld, if you've seen it, where Kramer, I guess he was wanting to make some extra money or something, and he goes in and does this fake patient.
But I can't remember what happens in the episode, but I have a feeling he does not stick to the script, which is paramount.
I would imagine so. So you were taking your acting skills to business. Pretty cool, right? So, but
say that.
Yeah. That is excellent. So it's been a little over a year, right? And how's it going? I mean, a lot of our Gonzo family listeners here are, our beginning stage entrepreneurs, and you guys have each other, which is nice. But some, many people, I'll say most people, are alone in the beginning, maybe out of their, spare bedroom, etc. And there could be some, horrifying, paralyzing days, or I'll say times. And then there could be some incredibly like exciting, exuberant times. And the reason I changed that is because a lot of times both those things happen in the same day, right? So,
Right,
9 a.m., you're like, oh my God, why am I doing this? What am I thinking? And by 11 a.m., you're like, I am so freaking cool. Look what I'm doing.
It's the roller coaster. It's the roller coaster. And
Right.
I like what you said, though, because it's always that thing of trust the process. I think with anything you do, like obviously you're just going to be spinning the wheel, but what you're doing when you're spinning the wheel is going to ultimately add up to something great if you keep at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's hard in the moment, but if you keep reminding yourself to trust the process. And I feel like looking back, like we've had quite the process to get to where we are. And of course we had like a lot of trials and tribulations. We're like, wait, how do we start an LLC? Like we called in a lot of favors to get advice and
right.
figure out how we should go about it. And definitely a lot of learning curves along the way with different clients and how to present ourselves, how to work with the appropriate budget. So there's been a lot of ups and downs, but I think all good because we've learned.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, honestly, like when I think about where we started a year ago and where we are today, like we just did our second broadcast spot this year, which is huge for us. So, I mean, if someone had told us, like, I think when we signed those papers, you're going to do 2 broadcast spots this year, we'd be like, are you joking? Let's sign right now. You know what I mean? That's not to say that obviously there are down moments and there are times that are slow, and that's always scary when you're an entrepreneur. But I think like the main lesson that I've learned, because we also screenwrite, which only helps our business, but in both realms of like our work lives, is I think going all in is just the key to life.
2 feet in.
And yeah, if you don't, it's like for years, I mean, we were making the comedy videos, we were also working other jobs, and it's always pulling your focus. But when you go all in on something and you have no choice but to make it work, you'll be amazed by the results that you get.
And I take that lesson from Shelby because I feel so lucky to have her as a partner. I really do. Because she has this mindset that like that you can learn anything if you just put in the effort and try. And yes, there's going to be frustrations, but she is like the master when it comes to like, we don't know how to do this. Okay, cool. Let's figure it out.
Let's Google it.
Delusion, but
a lot of tremendous entrepreneurs are very delusional until they figure it out, right? So, yep.
Right.
A lot of filmmakers too. Yeah.
Well, if you read Steve Jobs's biography, I forgot what they called it, but essentially he was extremely delusional, and there was no way to do it. But they found a way to do it, right?
Yeah. So. I gotta read that book.
He called it. It was like his own reality, but they had a name for it. But essentially, like when he was explaining what he wanted to do was like maybe talking about the first iPod, right, or the iPad eventually, etc. Yeah. They're like, there's no way, and he would just push everybody, sometimes to the brink of insanity, to find a way, right?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta take notice of the naysayers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, listen, great things were never invented and or created by people based in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Got to keep reminding ourselves of that.
No, never be realistic. Never be realistic.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, your interview with Kendra Scott is one of my favorite podcasts.
Oh, thank you.
I've ever heard. And I think she kind of talks about this brilliantly, because she talks about going to that conference, I think at Harvard, where you guys met.
Yeah,
And
the Entrepreneur Master's Program. Yeah.
yeah, she had nothing and was surrounded by all these people that had already like 5 businesses, and just
Inspiring.
said like, this is what's up. And now I'm pretty sure she's a billionaire. So who's laughing now? You know?
Well, yeah, you know, and what's funny is I remember her, you know, speaking for the first time, you know, and we all had introduced ourselves. And you're right, a lot of entrepreneurs had 2, 3, 4 businesses, but millionaires. She got up and she was like, you know, well, I'm making jewelry out of my house. My previous hat business failed. And, you know, but my goal is that I want to create you know, $1 billion company. And, you know, my spirit is, I was like, I believed in her, go Kendra, you know, but she felt like a lot of the guys, and it was a lot of guys. I mean, there was, I think, 60 something people in the class and probably 95% men. She got the feeling that a lot of men were like, okay, whatever, you know, and, who's laughing now? As, you know, about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now, she, you know, sold a lot of her company to a VC firm. And what do they value her company at? Oh, $1 billion, right? So, you know, God bless. And yeah, if anybody, Gonzo family, if you know, go back and listen if you haven't heard my Kendra Scott interview, because here's an uber successful woman who is still very humble about everything, right? Everything. Yeah. So appreciate that. Now, one thing I love about you guys is, you know, starting a business is tough enough, but starting a business with a partner is even tougher. So how, you know, going into this, how did you guys know, like, okay, this is even a little extra risk having a business partner? How did you navigate that? And have you found out, like, you know, Kristina, you're better at some things, and, you know, and Shelby's better at some things, and kind of figured out the yin to each other's yang type of thing?
Well, you know what? I will say, I actually feel that it would be scarier to be by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel that it is less risky to start a business with Kristina, because, you know, we've been working together for so long and we support each other, and I don't know how I would do this by myself. I really don't.
Right back at you.
So for me, I actually feel the opposite. It doesn't, I know some people, I worked for a small production company before we started ours, where it was 2 guys that were friends, and they started this business together, and it just like didn't really work, and they just like weren't really communicating. And I think, yeah, some people think it's a burden, but to me, it's like the biggest blessing.
Yeah. It really, I mean, I can't even say how much how lucky I feel
me
to
too,
have
girl.
her as a partner. I don't know. I think we just
You
complement.
guys crying? Are you guys just, do I see tears?
I'm not crying, you're crying, dude.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry today. Thanks, ladies.
But I think the proof is in the pudding. Whereas when we were signing our document for the LLC, the partner document, we were like, we're gonna make it 50-50, and everybody was telling us, no, you should do 49-51. Like, that's just, you need someone to take the lead. And we were kind of like, I think we just really trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are problems, we bring them up, even if it's uncomfortable, and we talk through it. And I just think she gets a good head on her shoulders. I'm like the maniac a little bit. So
well, there's the balance, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I would say Kristina's great with like the big ideas. She's so funny, hilarious. I kind of bring, like, I guess maybe a technical aspect.
She's way better than technical.
But yeah, together we also do share a lot of the same responsibilities, and I think too, part of that is that we write together, and we were writing together before we started this business. And when you're kind of a screenwriting team, it's like the work comes first. So you kind of have to really take your ego out of it 100%.
The compromise
is huge. And so I think we kind of apply those same skills to the business, whereas because we don't come from a business background, whereas I think a lot of like people that are really business focused are like, no, this is my role, this is your role, this is what I do, this is what you do, and don't step on my toes, you know what I mean? So for us, it's a little bit different.
Yeah. And I think because we do a lot of the same things, like we both edit, when we're on set, we are editing in our minds while we're shooting. So we're like, okay, we need to make sure this happens and this happens, and we're on the same page, which I think is really helpful to have two minds that are thinking alike.
Yeah. Now you guys can't do it all, right? Like you guys aren't holding the camera and in the middle of the editing. I mean, you guys are surrounding yourself with a team of experts in all those areas, and you guys are doing your expertise, which is writing and acting in some of these videos, correct? So
Yeah, I mean, we are so thankful for the network of people that we have found living here for the last 15 years, 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And there's everybody we work with is just such, like you said, an expert in their given field. And I feel like everybody just has such a positive energy, and we try to like keep that going as well. And yeah, we do have freelancers to do, sound and lighting and directing. So I just, again, feel very fortunate to know all these people, and as well as, actors in our network who we've worked with in the past and been in class with. We know their work, we can pull from, and they're more than happy to want to work with us. So I feel like we found ourselves in a nice little spot when it comes to finding a team.
Yeah.
that's fantastic. No, I honestly, I feel your good energy with each other. Sometimes I'll talk. Sometimes I'll talk to partners, and I can tell that something is like pissing the other one off a little bit. But you guys, it seem like it's a true love fest here. So that's fantastic.
I mean, we are actors. So.
That is true. I got to remember that. Yeah. Camera goes off, and Shelby's gonna be like, "What the hell did you say that for?" Very funny. So going forward, what is the vision for this company? Do you guys have like a 3-5 year vision? Do you want to, is it big as you can, or what are the goals for the next 3 to 5 years?
I think we're trying to get into a nice place where we can eventually expand and hire someone at least part-time to do maybe the more administrative stuff that we aren't necessarily the best at. But while we're doing the creative, so that's the goal, is to have some people take care of that while we're focusing on the creative. And we both would love to expand and get bigger, but we also don't want to get too big for our britches quite yet. We want to make sure slow and steady wins the race, I guess.
You would say slow and steady wins the race.
Well,
yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, you go, please.
Yeah, I think what we really enjoy is focusing on YouTube and broadcast spaces where you can really like tell a story. Not that you can't in a TikTok video or whatnot, but I think we really thrive when we're putting on a full production. We have a production designer, we have a space, we have a beautiful camera. Like the visuals are really exciting for us as well. So we look forward to just keep on keeping on.
It's beautiful. Well, there's a book that I'll recommend to you, ladies. And it probably came out about 15 years, but it's been revised. It's a book by a friend of mine, Bo Burlingham, who used to be editor in chief of Inc. magazine forever. But the book is called Small Giants, and it's about companies that chose to be great rather than as big as they can be. And they didn't want to lose that mojo that made them great. And so I could see you guys not wanting to water down the quality of your videos, for growth. So Small Giants, Bo Burlingham. Bo was my first guest. I'm bringing this up. Wow. Burlingham was my first guest on my podcast in October 2016. So I kicked it off with.
We'll have to listen to that one.
One of my favorite people and one of my favorite books. The book became so popular, they started a community around it called Small Giants Community. And I've been to a lot of their events, et cetera. And it's all about people, probably like you guys that, are really don't want to sacrifice, once again, the mojo, the quality, the standards in order to just grow,
Right. Right.
So maybe that's your next read, So
Yes,
I'll give you some
absolutely.
homework. Sorry about that, but
No,
love
we
it.
we
We
love
love
it. That sounds great.
so now, just curious, do you guys do a lot of travel now that COVID is, God willing, ending, or are you doing most of your work in the Southern California area?
We do most of our work here just because that's where like our crew and our team is. But we are taking clients. We just did a job for a woman that's in Nashville, where we were kind of able to incorporate her into the video virtually. Basically, we did sort of like a spoof on like a Charlie's Angels kind of a vibe. And so we were able to shoot the whole video here, but then we had her record like a little video call in, which was very cute. It worked great. So that's kind of probably how we're trying to make it work. But we are open to traveling to work with people. It's just sometimes it's tough because that would make our budget just jump up quite a bit with the travel for like the whole crew, the cast, all that jazz.
Yep, excellent. Well, I am super proud of you and excited for you. I love when people can make comedy into a profitable business. So, and I want people to work with you. So again, best way, your website, take two content.com. And if people want to learn more about you, reach out and all that great stuff, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, our emails are just Shelby at take2content.com and Kristina at take2content.com with the number 2.
The number 2. Yes. We love the number 2, don't we? Yes.
Yeah, we love it. We
clearly.
Yeah.
I remember when my kids were young and I would say, no, you say number 1 or number 2. And they were like, well, what's number 3 and 4 and 5? I'm like, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Just you wait.
Yes, just you wait. So excellent. Well, Shelby Dash and Kristina Clifford, Take Two Content, thank you so much. You guys have great energy, and I know you're already successful, but I also know that you're going to continue to be incredibly successful, and I wish you the best, and I hope we stay in good touch.
Oh, thank you so much. This was so much fun, and you're the best.
So
Thanks.
fun.
Let's do this every day, right?
Yeah. 1 p.m.
Yes, let's do it. I love it. All right. Well, thank you, ladies, again. Appreciate it. And appreciate you, Gonzo family. Thank you for listening and or watching the Gonzo Experience. Again, every Wednesday morning, brand new episode for you, where we bring the latest, funniest, great guests to you. If you like this episode, please share it with a friend, have them subscribe and like us and all that good stuff. Everybody have a great day and make sure to stay awesome.